All right, so we're doing something a little bit different today. Obviously, we're out in the woods just chilling. The whole reason I started this company, Last Line, started doing the antics, started doing everything, is because I wanted to help veterans who are struggling with their PTSD. Didn't want to go the pharmaceutical route, 'cause that's what the VA likes to do.
Oh, they just pump you full.
Yeah, they just like giving you pills and everything. And I like being out in nature, and I started the company to take veterans out into nature to try to help them. So I figured for this segment that we're doing today, usually we do the goofy stuff, but I wanted to get out in the woods and stuff today because I personally am not a combat vet, but Wes, who's usually behind the camera, y'all have seen him though.
Oh yeah,
He's been in the videos and stuff.
been around.
He is a combat vet. So if you want to tell him like your background a little bit, and the whole thing is going to be, for once in my life, I'm going to shut the fuck up, kind of. And Wes is going to go over some of the things that helped him deal with his PTSD from combat without going the psych med direction.
Yeah, I mean, so I did 5 years in the Marine Corps. 2 of that was in security forces, and then the remaining of it, 2.5, 3 years, was in a line platoon with the infantry. Different workups, seen different things with security forces, not necessarily combat related, but we did have a training accident where we lost a Marine. That was our the first little shock, shit, this is real.
This is real life.
This is life. This is my life.
How old were you?
I want to say 19, going on 20-ish.
Yeah, so that's
19.
A lot of vets out there.
Yeah, you're
that's
super
your age
young.
range.
Yeah,
you're young to be introduced to that kind of shit.
Oh, dude, it's insane. You're just expected to deal, and no one ever, back then, it's a lot different now from what I hear, but back then, you didn't go see what they called the voodoo doctor, or the witch doctor. Everybody has their own name. You didn't go see the psych doctor. You didn't go see hey, I can't sleep, I can't do this. You just kind of, grieved in your own way. And a lot of us, especially then, we were underage drinking. I mean, I shouldn't say, but we were.
Yeah, dude,
I mean, we drank drank like fishes, like most military members probably do. And then
it's like self-medication.
Oh, absolutely. You don't even know that you're doing it because you're young. You're
it's
just
fun.
You're like, well,
you feel better. Party. So of course it's fun.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You feel nothing or whatever. So, and then went on deployment, Bahrain. Nothing really there. It's NATO base. Cool. Did a lot more drinking there. There's a theme to this.
Wes has a problem.
I did, yeah. It was bad. And then so got back. Everybody kind of with security forces, you're just a small group, and then you get kind of just thrown out to the fleet. You get to the fleet, people don't like you because all your security forces, your first couple years, your deployment's typically relatively easier. Blah blah blah, and then so we did our workup. We were supposed to go to Iraq, back to standing post. From what I was told, I was never in Iraq. So they changed it I don't know, a couple months out. So we got slated for Afghanistan. And then once we were getting ready to go to Afghanistan, we're like, hey, you're going to Marja. We're like, what the hell's Marja? It's in the Helmand province. Like, okay. They're like, it's the last stronghold. Like, all right, well, that sounds, we're young. We're like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
And then you get your briefing and you're like, hey, it's going to be bad. And you're like, it can't be that bad. Most of the majority of the fighting. Now this is 2010-ish. Most of the fighting should have been done, is what we were told. We were figuring.
Right.
So with that, sorry, my phone's vibrating. It kind of started. We're like, okay, we're here. Call home for the last time. Some people had good conversations when they called home. I was not one of them. That's a whole different story for a whole different chapter.
That's we're going to have to cover that at some point in time too, because along with combat, being deployed and everything, you had a shit show going on stateside.
Oh, it was a disaster.
We're not going to go in there today.
Yeah.
But
touch on that at a different time.
Because my thumbnail is not going to cover that.
Right.
So
for sure.
Don't fuck it up for me.
Yeah, no, I ain't. So.
No, I ain't.
Yeah, I ain't gonna mess it up. So I had other stuff going on, but you know, you're trained to like, hey, you flip that light switch. You're in country now. It doesn't matter. Like everything back home, you gotta shut that shit down. Focus on the mission. Focus on your guys. Got bugs flying all over my ass. But so we're like, all right, cool. Start doing a little humping, like you know, hiking, humping, whatever you want to call it. We called it humping, and just skirting around the outside of the city. First contact, they're way out in the distance, round skipping around. We're like, oh shit, like that's cool. Right. You know, still young and dumb.
Yeah.
Not, you know, like that's cool. Kind of, you know, doesn't sound like anything like the movies. And then we get into the city, and then all hell breaks loose. I mean, you name it. We've seen IEDs, you know, exploding, contact pretty much every day. It was very kinetic. And then we got like a couple of weeks in like a law time frame, or at least we did. Other units, they were still getting hit. And then it picked right back up. And then, I mean, I'm just kind of like, just.
Yeah. Just summarize.
Yeah. So then we flew home on my 21st birthday, flew back into what was Camp Dwyer. I think is now demobbed, obviously, since, you know, we're not in Afghanistan anymore. And then, shortly after that, back stateside. And they just kind of throw you back to States. I mean, you're home. You're like, hey, if you need to talk to anybody about anything, go talk to them, blah, blah, blah.
They're just kind of like, hey.
Yeah, like, just like,
best of luck to you.
There's your family. Go. See ya.
Yeah.
And then.
Dude, like, what was it like coming from, like, that adrenaline high of combat, coming back to being stateside where, like, that familiarity was like, this isn't the same?
So, I mean, you feel, me personally, I felt nothing. Like, not like nothing as in the sense like there was no change, but nothing as in the sense like I was still in that mindset. Like everything was shut off. It was literally like if you weren't right dead center in front of me or in like my immediate area, I didn't care. Like it didn't affect me. Like if you weren't in my, you know, 3-foot section or whatever you want to call it, like everybody has their own thing. But like I didn't care. I need like if I wanted your attention, I needed it now. You know what I mean? If I didn't want attention, like I wouldn't. I'd stay in my barracks room. I would drink a lot, like because I couldn't sleep. When I would sleep, you know, I mean, I was right back into it. Like, so the only way for me to stop that in my head, because you don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Like you just don't go to the VA or not the VA, but you don't go to the doc and be like, hey, I can't sleep because I have nightmares. Yeah. Because at that point, like I didn't know if I was getting out, staying in. If you get labeled that as a psych patient or whatever, like you're screwed. Like you're not getting like a nice, you know, like reenlistment job, like, you know, like a B billet or anything like that. Like it really messes with you. I mean, at least like that was what we were drilled into our head from, you know, young devil pups, you know, coming up through boot camp, SOY. Like you don't talk about it. Like your personal issues, you put the uniform on, like you're a Marine. Like you're a hard charge and motivator. Like get out there. Yeah.
So like you just were like, even if like you were feeling shit and you're like, I should probably talk to somebody, you were like, hey, like I don't know what I want to do yet, so
I gotta
keep this shit to myself.
Talk Southern Comfort.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like.
So that's what you did.
Yeah.
To deal with it.
I mean, I would.
It was that self-medication at that point in time.
Oh,
just to make sure, because that sucks. Because like a lot of people probably still experience that. Where they're like, shit, like they know something's affecting them.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's like I can't say anything because it might put my job in jeopardy.
Yeah. And there's a lot of jobs out there that it still will.
Yeah.
I mean, even once you get home as a combat vet or whatever, like you get home and with PTSD, you know you have it. Like, you know damn well you have it. There's no way I could have seen all the shit I've seen and not had some form of it. But in my mind, I'm like, well, what I seen wasn't as bad as other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not broken. I can physically move around. I don't need the VA. So I didn't go.
Right.
Like I didn't seek them.
Which is probably a great move in hindsight.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Yeah. I mean, I wish I would have started counseling sooner, but not like the psych part of it.
Yeah.
So like.
But you were young.
Yeah.
So you might have taken the pills.
I did take some medication.
With the yeah, like drank with the pills. So it's like.
So like, my first batch of prescription meds that they gave me made me even number. So like, when you're trying to explain to the VA or a psych doctor that you have no feelings. They're like, everybody has feelings. I'm
Right.
like, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I shut all that shit down. Like, it's gone. Like, it's not gone. You didn't shut it down. Like, are you, like, so if you're not telling them, like, hey, I'm super depressed, I don't, I'm not worth anything. Like, if you're not at that point, they don't think of you back then as having PTSD. Like, you're not bad. Like, you're fine. Just take this medication. It'll help you sleep. Yeah, I went into, like, I would take the pills, like I was told, and I'd go into like a fucking coma all night. Like, but I would wake up like I slept on a hornet's nest. It was terrible. Got to the point where coworkers, even at work, were like, "Hey, you got to stop." Like, because like I wouldn't take it out on my family at home because like I wasn't raised like it. Like, you don't do that. So I would just kind of like shut them out, but not like be angry towards them.
Yeah.
Like, but I worked in corrections, so like I would get angry over the littlest things like an inmate would do.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Hey, you got to stop. Like, go to the bubble," which I was in restricted house unit, working as a CO back then. They'd be like, "Go up to the bubble. Like, you're gonna cause a bigger issue." I'm like, "All right, stop taking the meds."
So like your PTSD started giving you like a quicker trigger.
Yeah, because like I didn't have that.
Not that you have a real slow trigger now.
It's a lot better.
I've been driving with you.
Yeah.
Not that you have. Don't pull out in front of Wes and go slow. Yeah. There's still a quick trigger.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean you're absolutely right. Like it's not that I got a more of a trigger than I used to. We'll put it that way. Like there's a lot less that I let get to me because I kind of adopted like if I can't change it or fix it, then why other bitch about it or why like I mean get mad about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I stopped taking the meds. They wanted to try me on this other meds, but like when I tried to tell the doctor, and he was already like of a nationality that like I mean most combat vets of our generation, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's not that
I think Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
It was a trigger for you.
It was. It
like you
wasn't
can say
that he looked.
You're not being like that's not like racist or anything in my book because like that's who you were up against.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like obviously that's a natural trigger.
Yeah. So like when he wasn't like he's basically calling me a liar. That pill never gives you side effects like that. And I'm like, I'm telling you right now, it does. I don't like. And I started talking like exactly how I felt to this guy, and he's like, you say another word, I'm gonna have you committed. Well, at that time, I'm like, well, I can't lose my job because again, that same mindset. The jail really didn't know, or the prison I was working at didn't really know that I had any type of issues. The guys like my close, group of guys I worked with, they obviously did. We talk about different things, but yeah. So I was like, I'm done. So then again, I went back to not sleeping at night because I just couldn't sleep or I didn't want to sleep. So, I'd eat or I'd work more hours or play video games or whatever just because I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And of course, without lack of sleep, everybody knows you naturally get more grumpy and snowball.
Anxiety goes up, stress levels stay high.
Yeah.
All that shit. Yeah.
And I'm already working in a stressful environment. So, but this entire time, I mean, up until, I'd say once I got custody of my girls, I slowed down the drinking. I didn't stop.
Yeah.
But it wasn't every night. Like before, I was that guy that would drink at least, a pint or a half a fifth, whatever you want to call it, a night just to go to sleep and not dream.
Yeah, there's so many people out there like that too.
Oh yeah, and
like that, and that's just like it's not. And people are like, "Why don't you just stop?" It's like, well, I have to.
Yeah,
you have to.
In my mind, like I couldn't. There was no way I could survive on a daily basis without sleep. One and two, without. I mean, you got to sleep, but I would also, if I had them dreams, you'd wake up in a fit of rage, like it's just a ball of rage, and like you have no way to take it, like put it. And at the time in the Marine Corps, when I was, getting ready to get out, I'd work out. So I'd drink, like I'd work out hard. I mean, like crawl up the steps, get a shower, get some food, myself, and then start drinking. And when someone would come by, party with them. If not, I'd just drink by myself.
Yeah.
I'd put some stupid show on and
off you went.
That's it.
And you felt better.
Oh, I felt great.
Yeah.
Everybody thought I was doing great.
It works.
Yeah.
Dude, like that, I'm an addict. I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
Shit feels good. It feels better.
Dude, not feeling was the greatest feeling.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
And then some stuff happened, you know, the wife now, like, we were just dating and stuff like that, and we were just getting ready to move in, and I already talked to her, so she knows
Okay,
this
good,
is out
good,
there. Yeah,
good.
yeah. She actually told me to make sure I talked about this because, like, it goes back to me not feeling it. I wasn't telling her anything at this
Right.
time. Like, she knew, obviously, because she's, you know, a combat vet as well, but, like, she knew I had PTSD. I knew
Yeah.
I had PTSD.
Yeah.
You know, I was taking medication and stuff like that, but then I stopped taking the meds. But, like, she didn't know like what extent my PTSD was compared to other people. A lot of people get, like, depressed and, like, they have suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts. I mean, they have all these crazy. I wouldn't like if you weren't like my immediate family or in my immediate like vicinity, and not that she wasn't, like, she was and is the love of my life, but like she wasn't there during the time for like right after we moved in is when she found all this stuff on my old phone. And I was talking to different like girls, but never actually going to see them, just talking to them because I wanted to feel that self-worth, or I don't even really know. I just wanted that attention.
Yeah.
I was down. I just wanted to feel like, oh, like I am worth a shit. Even though I knew I was. And
you need
like,
that confirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we had a long, very long discussion / argument. It was one-sided because I knew exactly where she was coming from. Couldn't get mad at her for it.
Yep.
And that's when I started actually seeking counseling.
So like that's what changed it. It was like something in your life was like, hey, it's either this or this.
Yeah, it was either I'm walking or you go get help.
When that happened, like in your mind, were you like, if I don't do this, I'm probably going to go so far down this road that I'm probably never going to get back? Like, did you know?
Yeah, I knew essentially that she was my last hope for like actually like physical connection with anybody, like emotional connection.
Yeah.
With anybody outside of like a family emotional connection. Right. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Like that bloodline type thing. But so I went and I got help, and I bounced around a couple different psychs, and I met this crazy good one. You wouldn't imagine it because she like was not a combat, you know, anything like but that was her whole mission, was to work with, you know, combat, you know, vets with their PTSD and stuff.
Yeah.
And through talking with her, and once I built that relationship of she's not going to judge me for anything I say in here.
Yeah.
We could get into the nit and gritty, just the bad shit that I see.
Base shit.
Yeah, that bad shit that I seen.
Yeah.
And I could talk freely and openly about it without feeling judged, because that's the biggest problem. I feel that most guys and girls out there that's went through and seen some heinous shit is like, your normal friends, you can't talk to them about it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I would try. The first conversation I had with somebody outside the like the veteran world, like I was drunk. Obviously, there was a theme back then, and I told them the story, and I laughed about it because it was funny.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And they looked at me different from that point on. I get that. Like when it happened, I'm like, I'm drunk. I'm just thinking things. The next time I seen them, they still looked at me different.
Yeah.
With that judgmental eye. So I never spoke a word about anything. So I was like, oh, okay, well, you got to find the people that's not going to be judgmental.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I didn't trust anybody back then. So once I started talking to her, months of going to her once a week or whatever, I finally opened up to my wife.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, why didn't you just tell me this earlier? I'm like, well, I don't want to be judged.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, once that, it's crazy. Like once that happens once.
Yep.
Automatically, like most people I know, they're like, all right, cool, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, like it's
like, why am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'm not going to put myself in that situation.
Yeah, and that can ruin it.
Yeah,
that can ruin people from opening up to other people, because people don't get it.
They don't. Because
like veterans, like genuinely have a different dark sense of humor.
Oh, dude,
because you can't laugh at it, you can't do that. Like it makes it way worse.
Yeah, because if you can't laugh at it, you know, people say, oh, you got to cry about it. Well, you don't. You know what I mean? Like most veterans have an issue with crying about it, like showing that actual physical feeling
Yeah.
of letting the tears roll out. Like I'll get to that point.
Yeah.
But I'll I shut it down. Like I start to shut down, and I got like, no, you know what I mean? It's okay, but still, I mean, yeah, if you can't get it out there, you can't talk to somebody about it. Like it just eats you up. And I've seen it time in and time out. And I've had friends and friends of friends that's no longer with us because it just ate them up.
Yeah.
They didn't have that outlet. They couldn't. They felt hopeless. They felt like they couldn't go talk to anybody. And that's really what gets me. Like,
yeah.
So that's a different type of guilt now versus then. You know what I mean? Then I was like more selfish. Like I gotta work my own shit.
Yeah.
Now, especially after like meeting you and this crazy guy, doesn't really give you much options but to talk. So kind of like grown as a person and gotten that out there and feel more open to talk about the stuff I've been through.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've talked.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's why I wanted to do it with you, because like you are legit. Like,
well, I mean, there's
legit.
guys that seen way more stuff.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you've been there.
Yeah.
You've been there. You can speak to it. It's like a legitimate standpoint of combat, coming back from combat. Like, I can't give that.
Right.
And I can't understand that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something I can't do. And I was like, if we do this video, if one person sees it,
just
call.
Just
if somebody
message.
watches this, and like, where would you like now, like looking back on your shit, like, where would you be like, hey, like, this is a good place to start? Because a lot of people, it's just like when we talk to people while working out.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't even know where to start. And for us, it's easy to tell them where to start because we've been there.
Yeah, like take a step in the gym. Like,
exactly.
That's the hardest part.
Go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what's your like go to the gym like equivalent for somebody who's like dealing with PTSD? They can't get off the bottle. Like they can't. Like they're just like down that hole.
Yeah. I mean, reach out to your best friend, like whether it's your wife. If you don't want to reach out to your wife, reach out to another veteran that you were served with, or reach out to us.
Or us, yeah. I was gonna say us.
I mean, you message me and on Facebook or what, like that's pretty much the only thing I got because I'm a caveman. And you say, hey, I'm so and so. What, am I wrong? Like that's literally
so right. That's why I laugh.
And you're like, I'm so and so. Like this is like, I don't need your whole story. Just tell me whatever you want to know. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, I will like check in on you. Like I will message you right back as soon as I wake up or whenever.
And like knowing Wes, he's probably gonna mud check you too.
Yeah, I'm definitely
he's
gonna.
Probably gonna be like, all right, because like we've ran into Stolen Valor a few times.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And it's just like, come on, like I one, it's a federal offense.
Yeah.
Two,
absolutely.
It's like
it's the biggest disrespect.
Yeah, it's so disrespectful to the men and women who went through that shit, and you pretend and make up this shit that you were there and like you went through. No, that like they it's gonna sound ass backwards, but they earned that scar.
Yeah,
I mean, they carry that scar for a reason.
Yeah, it's a burden. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah,
it's a lot of weight. And a lot of veterans carry it, and a lot of people don't like to talk about it.
So if you do message Wes or I, and we do mud check you a little bit, and like verify you, don't be offended.
Yeah, please
it's because
don't.
Like as soon as we do verify that, like, yeah, like you are the person you say you are, like you went through the shit you went through, we're going to give you all of our attention.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's better than us giving you 80%, wondering if, like, is this person legitimate? These stories kind of seem. We've heard we've heard some stories.
Some crazy ones.
Like, so don't be offended. If somebody does that to you, they're probably just trying to validate you to make sure that, like,
they're not wasting their time.
Yeah, whenever they're putting all the time into you, like, that's legitimate time that they're putting into you because we want you to be okay.
Yeah.
If you actually did go through that shit.
And it's opening up scars for them, too.
Absolutely. Like, we don't want you to open up scars and us just be 50 to 60 to 70% in.
Yeah.
Or
like if we're talking about like stuff that we both went through or similar situations, like that's opening that door back up in my world.
Exactly.
As well as
like you are also becoming vulnerable.
Yeah. So if I'm putting that time and effort in, I want that time and effort back.
Absolutely.
Like I want you to put like, okay, like, hey, Wes told me that like film like this is okay.
Yeah.
But to call them anytime or like, because if we start talking, like you'll end up getting my number.
Yeah.
If you're about, we verify that you truly are who you are. No problem investing that time in you.
Yeah, and oh man, I was going to say something. I forget.
It'll come to you.
And no, it's not. That happened yesterday.
Oh shit.
It's fine. It's gone. But yeah, I mean that's the right way to do it too.
Yeah, and I think that's the easiest step too, is to talk to somebody outside of the medical field first. I mean, I've been down the medication road. I've done the regular counseling road. I believe in it because it was successful for me.
Yeah.
Other people's had bad experience with the VA. I got lucky, had a great, counselor, doctor. She was a doctor, but like that's why I went there for her.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and it worked out great for me. Now other veterans, and you may be that veteran that's like, man, I tried. All they did was pump me full of a bunch of stuff, made me fat, made my stuff not work. Like that happens. I get that.
Yeah.
And for us, like I know, like you have your own traumas.
Yeah.
We all know I got my own traumas, and the gym is the best thing.
I was going to say that. Like my thing that saved me is that like I stayed active.
Yeah.
I didn't sit on the couch. I didn't dwell on things. You know me, like I have some weird shit that goes through my head.
Right.
But like since meeting you, like, cause like one of the first, like this is how Wes is. One of the first times we ever worked out, didn't know each other that well. I have this weird anxiety that I'm always going to have a heart attack. Not making this about me, but it's going to tell you something about him. So I have to tell a story. But I quit on a workout.
Yeah.
I quit on a workout. My anxiety was through the roof. Quit on a workout, hopped on my bike, went home. I got home, and I had a message waiting from Wes, and it says, do you feel better now that you quit on yourself? And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
No, I feel the same. Or worse. Like, it doesn't, like, quitting will not fix anything. That guarantees that nothing will change. That's all that quitting does. And I learned that from Wes within, like, the first 2 weeks of starting to get to know him. I was like, oh shit, like this is a good person to have because he's going to push me. He's going to push me to deal with my shit. And it's easy to shy away from that. Like whenever you're dealing with shit that you don't want to deal with, and you're dealing with feelings you don't want to deal with, your first reaction is going to get away from motherfuckers like us.
Yeah.
That's your defense mechanism. That's normal.
Yeah.
But what I learned from... All right, Wes was just looking at a spent round. Right there.
There it is.
So the video cut off. So the way we ended the video was Wes just kind of summarizing everything, and if he had 1 minute to tell somebody something that needed help, what do you got?
You are worth it. Take that first step. Reach out to somebody, no matter how hard it may be. Like, find someone to talk to. Call the hotline if you're at that breaking point. If they don't answer or put you on hold and you need somebody to talk to right now, I promise you the state police or the police department will have somebody that can come talk to you. They will talk you down. They most likely have been, maybe not in the same situation, but they've been through something where they can relate a little bit. And just don't be afraid. It doesn't make you weak or anything to reach out for help. Like, it's okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Wes.
Okay, bye.
Bye.